Okay, then we have a special guest inside the house, and boy, Galatic Clyde. We are talk about all week. I talk about his brother, right? All week, I talk to this brother, and son, me have a man give me some argument the other day, right? But I said to them that, son, when I'm gonna bring out some ammunition because I have a man who can turn you over, right? And Clyde, the reason the job we said about the doctors them.
Yes.
And you remember for example, that herbs is good for certain herbs like dandelion. It's good for the milk thistle. It's good for the liver. See,
Liver, yes, yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then you have people who say to you, you must consult
The doctor.
the doctor,
Yes.
right? But the thing is that you show me this, the doctor would tell that he has no knowledge of herbs.
They don't study herbs.
They don't study herbs.
That's
See?
what they feel.
So therefore, right?
Why is it?
Yeah. You got to talk about consult. You talk about him don't know. That's not his field, right? It's like, you imagine your car breakdown, right? Say way in Epping Forest, right? And it's dark, right? Middle of nowhere,
Yes.
and you have to make a phone call or the AA, right? Yeah, right. You consult a mechanic,
Yes.
right? Or a mechanic come there and fix the car. See, someone of knowledge of the. You're not gonna fool up a barber man or hairdressing or whatever. See, and you see, and when you show that reason to me, brethren, it just makes so much sense. Start put things together.
Yes.
But anyway, son, we're not going on with talk now because you're here now. We want to utilize everything, and Angene's inside the host as well. But I talk about me and you that talk about you earlier on. In fact, I asked Angene, I said to Angene that Galatic Clyde, I shake my head. The man is just heavy. Right? And trust me, when this man finishes some reasoning with us, right, life will never be the same again.
Yes.
But Clyde, what I want to do, right, because we I looked at this movie, the documentary film, last week Friday at the Manhattan Center. Very good. And I was telling Auntie Jean.
Dr. Badoza. It's called The Strong Medicine, the name of the film.
It's called
Strong Medicine.
Strong Medicine.
It's called Strong Medicine.
Yes.
Okay then. So we want a critique and a view how you find it, because I was telling Auntie Jean that I enjoyed the documentary film. Only thing I would say is that it was probably I wouldn't say probably too much people on the panel, but it wasn't really disciplined, wasn't really focused enough, personally speaking. I'm one two people just went on a lot, and we just personally I don't think we met our objective in terms of getting as much information and focus on what we wanted to get out of it. But that's my personal opinion still. But give us your overview and how you find the documentary film and the way forward. And we've got Auntie Jean here who probably wants to ask questions and so forth, yeah?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say it was a very informative film put together by Dr. Andrew Young, in connection with Morehouse College in the United States. And I think it was sponsored by the Ford Foundation. We know that when they meet a jam, a lot of the what they call them big organization, as we will consider them, when they meet a jam or when they can't figure out things, they always come back to the original source for things, and this always happens. So anyway, a priest who is considered a voodoo priest from Senegal, and he's also a medical doctor or trained in that, but he's working both field, both his priestly or what they call the voodoo tradition and the medical combined. He have a council of elders with him, different priests, and they consult with the ancestrals and use ancient knowledge, look at different urban remedies for different ailments. It would the interesting thing about it, Andrew Young says, he said to Dr. Bodoza, he said, you practitioners, because he was in America looking at some, doing some research, and he said, you practitioner in the voodoo world, what are you all doing about AIDS and the Ebola virus and those things? And he said Dr. Bodoza just smiled at him, didn't say nothing. But when he went back to Senegal, he sent him some specimen, herbal specimen, without the names for them to test in the Petri dish. It was so surprising that they even sent it to the military scientists, because these specimens of herbs that they sent combination was able to destroy both not only the Ebola, but also AIDS and cancer virus. So it's top of the line.
So when was this done? When was this experiment done?
I don't know what year it was, but it's just after the time of the Ebola crisis.
And so why didn't they use that?
Yes, why? That was a good question, because he said what happens. The international committee, they offer their help, but they turn them down, and that's what they've been doing to our people, because they consider us quack.
Yeah.
They consider quack until we're able to get our word in. So when they offer to assist with the Ebola crisis, they turn them down. But after they send the specimen and they're able to test it, they realize these guys have the real McCoy. Because even the army doctors, they were all surprised that there's specimens of herbs. And good thing, Dr. Bozoza, they actually keep the original species or the source from which the herbs are extract from. They did not give them, they just send them and said test these.
Right.
Yes.
Right, because they would have
So which means that they're protecting their knowledge.
Yeah, good.
You know? When we talk about ancient traditional healing and knowledge, this is surpass anything the Western world, which is just really less than 2,000 years, the Western world. We're talking about thousands and thousands of years of ancient traditional knowledge, practice and perfected over years. But what? Yes.
It's still kept.
Yes.
As the tradition and how it was.
Yes.
Because I mean, us, you know, we've lost all of that. So
We lost it to a certain extent, and this is what we must realize, to a certain extent, because it's still within us through our ancestral link.
Right.
And this is what they don't want us to realize. When the Ebola crisis break, I started to talk about the Ebola crisis. I started to talk because I got a message. I was in King Cross on the bus, and I started to laugh. Because the message came to, and I went on the radio to talk about how to cure the Ebola. Yes. And it was very heavy. Because the message is, if you anagram the word Ebola, you get 3 herbs that would good for Ebola.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
And I went on Galaxy and I talk about it.
Yeah.
And I give the list of the herbs. And I remember I was on the show with sister, what's her name? Lioness.
Okay.
She called me the next day, says, Clyde, you wouldn't believe. That same herb that you mentioned for the Ebola is the same herb the scientist says that they're using in the scientific document.
Wow.
So the ancestral powers are with us. It's just that we need to be in tune.
That's true.
You know, we have to take some time to be quiet, but realize that the ancestors are the spiritual library. Just like we have a physical library where we can go to the libraries and museums, the ancestors are the libraries and museums and the spiritual realm. They can come into our dreams and give us message.
True.
They do that all the time. And especially as we're going into fall, winter, this is where we're coming, because we're close to the ancestral world going to fall, winter. Because fall, winter represents the fall of man, the fall of nature. And as we fall, we go into a death stage. Winter is symbolic of death. And so we're close to the realm of the ancestrals, and lots of message come forth.
So this is the time of the year the messages comes to us. So
Yes.
this is the time of the year that we need to be alert.
Be in tune.
To be
Yes.
in tune and,
Yes.
you know.
And get the messages, because a lot come to in America, the natives, in the native tradition, at this time they started to prepare to go to the hills, to be more in touch, because they know that this time the spirits of the ancestors are very vibrant. And this is where your message comes through during yes.
Didn't know that.
Yes, because we're going to inner earth. We're going in our body during the fall, winter, and also into the earth.
Right.
That's why we sleep longer during fall, winter than spring, summer.
Right.
We spring forward, spring, summer,
Yeah.
but we
And
spring
fall
backward,
back.
here
Yes.
fall back, yes. Yeah. So we're going to the ancestral. That's why we have the, what they call it, Halloween, which is dealing with connecting with this ancestral. It's been long a connection because the veil between the ancestral world and this world is much thinner during the time of Halloween, during the time of the Christmas, what we call the Christmas, or what we call really the Christmas season is really dealing with the sun. It's an ancient ceremony to deal with the dealing with the rebirth of the sun. Most Christians wear a cross, which is the cross is what is called the Southern Cross.
Right.
It's a cross that's taken from the ancient world. If you Google the Southern Cross, you will see a lot of people who have their world, what they call it, map, not the world flag. They will have the Southern Cross on the flag, because the sun goes to meet the Southern Cross and is known to what is called died on the cross and then resurrected after so many days. This is where the story comes from. So Christianity is not an original story.
Right.
It's an ancient story retold. Yes?
Yeah.
And so when we talk about herbology and all of those things, we need to understand that nature is the key connection, because as the ancient says, they call it the law of correspondent.
Right.
The law of correspondent means that there's a correspondent between us as human and nature. There's a correspondent which is the Mother Earth, which is nature.
Yeah.
And this is why we could go to nature for the real pharmacy.
Right.
Anything other than nature is a false medication.
Yeah.
You know, we're not dealing with original medication, and that's why the doctors can never make true medicine.
Yes.
True medicine is made by nature.
Yeah.
And this is what we have to understand and go back to nature for the remedies. Because when the doctors do all the synthetic, I will tell you about the message that came through last night, but I wouldn't go too much deep into it, but I'll just show you a message that came through. What it is, the message came through and tell me, the message that I get last night, which was really, I was up from 2 o'clock in the morning, I was like, wow, this is heavy. We all understand when somebody dead,
Yeah.
they are taken to the morgue,
Yeah.
and in the morgue they dress them up and they give certain chemicals and stuff to make them look presentable for a funeral.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Well, those people that work the morgue, we call them undertaker.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, what's happening in society is that these same undertakers are what considered now the scientists in the field. So the undertakers, yes, the undertakers, instead of working with the dead, they're working in the farms. And that's, yes, that's why we're getting genetic and synthetic food. The undertakers are in the farm instead of in the morgue. So the farm becomes a morgue. And so we're eating dead foods. We're eating synthetic food. They're dressing up the food like a dead body. Yeah? They're making it applicable just like how you do it dead.
Yeah.
They're dead, they're rotten, the foods are no good that they're producing. They're chemicalized just like you would do a dead person.
Right.
So instead of the undertakers being in the morgue, they're in the farm. So we're eating foods that is prepared by undertakers. Because that's what they are. Because that's what the job of an undertaker.
Funny how you mentioned that, because when I was driving down, I had Bless FM on the tune in, and I think Vasco or somebody was talking about the pre-packed food that's already pre-seasoned.
They're in a coffin.
Yeah,
the pre-package is the coffin.
It masks the fact that the meat has gone past.
Yes. Yes,
by date.
just
Also
like
plus
an undertaker.
It covers the smell as well because of the chemicals.
Yes, that's what an undertaker job is. So what happened? Things are out of place.
Yeah.
If we take those undertaker out the farm, we'll have better farm food, because we need to put people that knows about farming, not those undertakers. Because all these chemicals don't need to be in the food. The food is divinely made.
Yeah.
Yes, the sun is the true chemistry that deals with producing the food.
Yeah.
But what they try to do now is reproduce. Nature already packaged everything.
So there's no
We
need
don't
to-
even need
yeah.
bottles and cans and all of it.
Yeah.
Nature comes
It's got-
everything
yeah,
packaged.
yeah.
Banana have his
It's
skin,
true,
that's
it's
his
true, it's
package.
true.
You know?
The skin,
Breadfruit have his outer coating,
Yes,
that's the
that's true.
package. But they're repackaging everything. Frankenstein,
Yes.
you know? And so we have to get back to original. Because we're dealing with copy, we're dealing with falsification.
That's right.
And you know who's good at that? The undertakers. Because when you go to a funeral, you're not going to smell anything dead
No,
there.
no,
And when you look at the person in the in the coffin,
yeah.
they look, wow, they looks nice, and
Yes.
you know, and the flowers, everything is just mass, just for the occasion.
Yeah.
Well, this is what they're doing to food. This is what they're doing to food, and we need to take those undertakers off the farm.
Yeah.
Yes, they're dressing up food like it's you know. They don't need to dress up no food. Nature already dress it. Like the Rastas used to say, the sun already cooked the food.
That's right.
It don't cook already. The Rastas used to say they no eat out of pot and pan. You know, they use the clay pot, which is the earth.
True.
It don't cook already. It's all this thing that we're doing. So where we go wrong, we change everything around. And I'm talking for those people who are in the church as well, those people who are Christian. They should realize that God already crystallized everything.
Yay.
Yes, everything don't make, everything don't cook and curry. And no need no hurry, we don't need no fast food. You know? Because the Son is the Son of God. It's the S-U-N, is the only Son of God. The only begotten. Yes, it's the ancient saint. Way before Christianity came into being, they had the Son as the only begotten. And the Son bless us. Because without the Son, nothing would grow down here. Not a thing would grow without the Son. And that's why when you're praising the Son, S-U-N, not S-O-N, is S-U-N. So what they're dealing with is a falsification. So when we go back to the truth, we will see, you know, we will live right. But we got to get those undertakers out the farm. Because them undertakers in the farm is massing the food and reorganizing things that not work for us. So the problem is that health is not a complicated thing. It's not complicated.
It's just simple.
If it was complicated, we'd have our doctors and everything already set out when we were born. You know, it's set that if we keep things the way that nature intended, the way that the Creator make it, everything would be all right. People would live long like how they used to live.
Yeah.
You know, I've looked at on the YouTube. There's a lady 90 years old, and she said she don't have any doctor.
Yeah.
She eats natural. She don't walk with no cane. She
Yes.
don't have any
Strong.
problems.
Yeah.
It's going back to nature. Then she bring up a friend who's 112 or 11 years old. And a friend walk off the stage without a cane.
Wow.
Where's that? Which part?
It's on YouTube. I have it on my phone. I'll show you.
Yeah,
Because
that's
these are the
amazing.
things that is going on. And we need to understand that our people
So
can
where they
live
based?
long.
We
Eh?
saw that
They live it. They're based in America.
in America. Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
amazing. 112.
The thing about it, what he said that the royal family, they wanted to mention the organization by name, which let me know, tip me off that the royal family are involved in certain recipes with natural, but they're not going to advertise that because
No,
it's not
advertise
wise
that.
for them to tell us how to live against the system.
Oh, right.
Because all they're doing this is for money and power.
Yeah.
Yes? Power, because they understand if we live natural, we'll be more in tune with nature.
Yeah.
And the unnatural takes us out of balance. And this is why we have to go get a doctor. I don't go see no doctor. I've been out of my country from since I don't want to give my age away, but why not? I've been out of my country for 30 something years.
Yeah.
Yes? And I haven't walked in the doctor to tell them I need help. Because I was already been prime. I grew up with my grandmother says, the doctor didn't want to kill me out. They want to kill me out, give me all them pills. And they throw them down the toilet, they throw them away. But they would still go to the doctor just to get a checkup, just to see what's going on. But most of those pills, I always said, the doctor want to kill me out. I saw them, they all used to say, and they know. You know, so they throw them pills away. So most time they think them pills are working, they throw them away. That's why most time the doctors want people to take the pills in the office, so they know you're taking it, because they know most people are not taking them garbage, because it is garbage. Why am I saying it is garbage? Anything that is synthetic is not good for you. Yeah, it's a falsification of something that is real. Why you need to take it? Why don't you take the real stuff?
Exactly.
You know,
But-
but you're not supposed to talk about it. But you see, the reason why I could talk about it, because I'm not being certified by nobody.
Yeah.
You know,
But it's,
they don't can't revoke nothing from me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But,
Yeah.
but it's boy, Clyde is just music to the ears. That's why I'm saying to people that you see this brother here, me just love him like cook food, because he's got so much in depth information, but he makes it so simple. You understand, Auntie Jean? So
Yeah,
simple
very.
and clear, you know. But talking about tablets, right? That I go look for a friend the other day. In fact, I looked for him yesterday, right?
Yes.
And he hasn't been well. In fact, he's kind of he's got problem with his legs, he's got diabetes, he's got this and that and whatever. And he's a few years older than me, but he's been very, you know, mobile and active, you know. But last few years, I've seen himself deteriorated. Yeah.
Yes.
It's really sad to see that. When we go in the man yard, right? This is no joke, you know, right? He must have about 20 different times the man take it. And he's got to have a chart, because he's got to take it a certain time.
Yes.
He must one for blood pressure. He must one for rush. He must one for headache. He must one.
So he's got to have a chart to keep up with.
Yeah.
It
He has to take them. And I said to him, we have to take so much tablets. Right? And he said tablets was really determining
of course, that's
his
killing
health.
him.
The
It's killing him.
tablets, the tablets is keeping
So-
a tab on him,
Yeah.
keep him alive enough to they can milk his money.
Exactly.
That's what he do. Is keeping a tablet. You understand?
Tab.
They holding you on and they holding you on enough to milk you, as they say.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what they do. It's no good. Let's talk about the medical. The older doctors used to make their own remedy, and that's when it used to be good.
Yeah.
I'm into herb, and there's no herbs I would give to somebody that I don't take myself.
Yeah.
If those doctors had to take those pills they give you, you wouldn't be able to come back and see them in the office. They would not survive. Any herbs I give to anybody, I take it myself.
Say that again. What the doctor there?
I said if them doctor have to take them tablets they're giving to people, they'll be upside down.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be able to
They wouldn't
practice
be around. Yeah.
because what they're dealing with is death.
The
Is
first
death
tablet
there?
they take would have killed them.
Any
Yeah.
herbs that you prescribe for anybody who's sick, you can take them yourself.
Yeah.
Auntie Jean, you know, always tell you, taste the stuff.
Yes, yeah.
Try it.
Yeah.
Because all of that we can try. The doctors can't do that.
True.
You understand? It would turn them upside down. They wouldn't be able to practice again.
That is
And
so
that's
true.
because they're dealing with
Yeah.
death.
That's true.
Exactly.
They're dealing with death.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about, so we're talking about the undertakers is in the farm.
Yeah.
So now, these guys that write prescription, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's talk about prescription.
Yeah.
Prescription, they're more like, they should be writing movie scripts,
Okay.
not prescription. Because the stuff they write is really comedy. It's comedy and it's scary.
Yeah.
So they should be writing scary movie, not prescriptions. So the scripts they should be write is for the movies,
Right.
not for our health, because it doesn't do our health any
No,
good.
No.
Yes. So if they want to really practice medicine, they need to go back to the tradition of medicine, where herbs is known historically over the years to do certain things.
Yeah.
The problem with it is that the reason why they don't do it is because they cannot copyright herbs. They cannot
Yes.
Right.
control
Yes,
herbs.
yeah.
Because as soon as we know what herb you're using, we can use it, we can get
That's
it.
why there's a ban
And
on
that-
a lot
yes.
of the natural herbs and
Yes,
what's it, plants that actually heal.
yes.
You know.
When the doctors write the script, tell him send it to the movie. Let them send those scripts to the movie, not for your health.
Yeah.
Those scripts are not, the prescriptions are not good for us. Herbs have traditional use over the years. And I could
Yes.
talk about those.
Mm-hmm.
Diabetes. There's a herb I mentioned last week, Dougie, we were talking. Ginema sylvester or goma powder. It's been used for diabetes for umpteen years.
Wow.
If you take that herb, it crushes the sugar in your body. If I give you a little of that herb and I give you a little sugar,
Yeah.
you would not taste any sweet in the sugar.
Okay.
Yes? It's a very good herb for diabetes.
Right.
What is diabetes? Diabetes is that the body cannot process food. It don't process already.
Yeah.
So the body cannot process it.
Yeah, right.
And because it cannot process it, the pancreas, which is the rebel, says, I'm not going to give you insulin to process something which I cannot process.
Right.
So the doctor says, if the pancreas not going to give you the insulin, we will give you the insulin.
Yeah.
So your body is rotting, and they're giving you insulin
Something
to
that's
try
not
to
even-
process an
yeah.
unprocessed food.
Yeah.
So they think the best way to get off the diabetic is get off the process. Yes,
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
that's the key.
That's
Yeah.
the key.
Get off the process and go back to real live food. Yes, there's a price difference in terms of what's out there, but you're better off eating mineral and eating something that's good. It's better you have little that's good than plenty that's not good.
That's
Yeah,
plenty,
true.
that's good.
Think about it.
True.
But
Yes.
practically, just to ride on what you're saying, over the last few weeks, I've had Brother Lyndon, I've come quite close to now, and he had diabetes. And one thing he had to do, right, is because he was eating wallpaper, processed food, chocolate, you name it. He's a chef.
Yes.
So, you know,
Mhm.
and in fact, he was saying that he was at work, right? And this guy was making jokes, and the guy said to him, "How can you not laugh at my jokes?" Right? And he ran away and he started to cry, and he knew there's something wrong with him, and because he just deteriorated, right? And he said to himself, right, what you're gonna do is that come off the processed food, the sugar, the fizzy drink, and started exercising, started fasting, and started eating more healthy. Within about 30, 40 days, he reversed
Yes.
the diabetes thing, and he become more, in fact, he's written a book on diabetes, you know.
Yes. Yes.
But what you're saying is absolutely right. You know, you got to come off the processed food.
exactly.
Mm.
The thing about it, though, the example that you just bring forth, the medical establishment are not looking for these examples. They don't want to know nothing about it
don't
because
want
it's
cures.
outside of their treatment.
They don't want cures.
The people that they don't talk about cures in the first place. They're talking about it's really house arrest,
Keep you-
as if you're a
keep
criminal.
it going.
They keep you under house arrest, and that's the worst thing, to be under house arrest because of your health condition.
Yeah.
When nature is out there, as the ancient says, the law of correspondence, as without, so within.
That's it.
So the heart, which is in our body, is also in nature. The liver is also in nature. All the parts of our body is out there in nature. So nature is the spare parts for us. Also, the planets plays a role as well, because we also can pick up energies from the planets. But the plants takes us to the planets, because the more we in tune with the plants is the more we in tune with the planets, because it's interconnection.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I understand what you're
So
saying
when
now.
we take the plants,
Plants.
it also hooks us up to the planets.
To the planet.
Yes.
Ah,
And
right.
Job said that, Job 34. He says, knowest thou the ordinance of the heaven? It was a question he asked in Job in the Bible. Do you know the ordinance of the heavens? Do you know how they operate in connection to the earth? He was asking that question because there's a scripture that said there is not even a blade of grass that don't have a planetary influence.
Wow.
So when you're eating the plants, you're also connecting with the planets, because the plants are planet in plant form. And that's key. And that's why we can tune in. And this is where people want to know where we get knowledge from. Knowledge is everywhere, because the universe, the whole earth is a college. We don't need to go to no school, because the school is in the plant. The
Yes.
teaching is in
Around
nature.
us, yeah.
So when they tell you got to go university, no, eat the plants, and the plant will tell you about itself. When you eat the plants, you connect with the plant energy, the plant spirit, the plant nature, the plant healing
Right.
power, and you're connecting with the planet.
Right.
And all of a sudden, you just know things. Like Rasta used to say, me just know it. You know? They're connected. That's why they used to say the mystic, like Bob Marley sing. There's a natural mystic blowing to the air.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you listen carefully, you will hear.
Yes.
It's in there. The natural mystic is in the plant. The natural mystic is in the air we breathe, the water we drink. But then they're trying to pollute it and confuse us.
Yeah.
So we got to get back to the natural mystic.
Absolutely. As I said, we have the great man Clyde inside the host, and just breaking some science, and your thing about herbs. And Clyde, in fact, Clyde, I had a conversation with a sister, a very powerful sister earlier on. And I was I talk about you, brethren, right? It's before Auntie Jean come, right? And I was saying to her, I don't know if she's up listening, right? No, I don't think she'll be listening, no, because she didn't expect the video so late, But I was saying to that, you do some walks,
Yes, I do herbal walks.
Herbal walks, on a Sunday. See?
Different days, yes.
Different days you do it?
Different days, yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it could be different
You know,
days,
you know
not,
what?
not limited.
You go for a
I've
walk
been
too?
on, yeah, I've been on one of the walks. It's
Auntie
not
Jean,
early
you know
morning.
too much, man. Sure. Hey, Auntie, I don't like you know too much over me,
Not that much. I'm still learning.
I realize it's necessary to do the walks. One of the things, because it's something I grew up in. I grew up in the Caribbean, and we used to play a game. Yes, I always talk about it. They used to call it Run for Bush, where all of us get together and we're running. We got to go find a certain bush. So they would name like Southside Bush. Most people know Southside Bush. So somebody name a Southside Bush. You got to know where the closest Southside Bush is and be the first to get it and bring it back. So you learn now to research from early.
Okay.
You learn to know what's in your environment, where it is, how close it is to where we are. You see? So I learned to research from early.
Oh, right.
And now when I think back about it, I'm still running for bush. Because if I see a plant I don't know, I'm trying to find out what's the name of this plant. I'm always looking at the different bush. So now I don't only learn the plants from in my country, but I learned the plants in the US when I was in the US. And I learned about plants here in the UK, that I'm in the UK. And there was a plant that we used to use when I was in Montserrat, my country. And we used to call it ratbat bush in my country.
Ratbat bush.
Yes. That's not a scientific name. That's the name of in the culture we were in. So I couldn't find it.
Oh, right. Oh,
And
okay,
nobody
'cause
knows
it's got a
about
different
it.
name now,
Yes, it's a different name.
Oh, different name. Okay.
I managed to find it, and guess where it is? It's all the way in the Philippines. I managed to find it.
Oh,
And then find the scientific name that goes with it. And realize, yes, it's a very good herb. It's very rare, but it used to grow like in the dark places. But it's very packed with different nutrients for the body, and very good to help if people are suffering from different ailments. Like if you work the field, a lot of times people don't realize if you work in the ground, you may pick up worms or parasite. And this is why they know about eating the bitter stuff, because at the time you have to also work them out of your body. You also have to take certain bitter stuff to get rid of worms or parasite, because they're in the earth, but we are interchange with them. But at the same times, you have to know what herbs to take as you work in within nature. And just like how they tell you if you get a cut, you need a tetanus shot, because there's tetanus in the earth in that sense. So there's certain plants that covers all these areas. You see? So I managed to find that. And I was talking about it, I think at your last event, Auntie Gina was that. And I realized it's well known in Jamaica. They use it when they're using, when they're doing jerk this and jerk that, when they're doing thing, yeah? It's called pepper elder.
okay.
But we don't call it that for in my village. We call it ratbat bush. In another village, they call it inflammation bush, because it's good for getting inflammation out your body.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm giving out this remedy because, it's important for us to, not hold these secrets, because I know a lot of herbs and it's good to share. I don't care, in terms of, holding back knowledge, because knowledge is like water. You got to flow. It's got to flow. You know what I mean? And a lot of my secrets, I put them in the road, because if I share it, then I'm able to get more. Because the Creator said, "Why he's empty, let me fill him up again." You know what I mean? People don't realize the more you hold, more you hold back is the less you get. So the more I share is the more I get. And so I always share this knowledge, because it's so important.
But coming back to the walk you do now. So you do different days, you said?
Yes, we're gonna organize one. We haven't set the date for September, but it's getting a bit cooler now, because I had a nice smile during the summer where we had all that heated, and I look at some of the plants that I used to see green and thing, and they couldn't deal with the sun. Some of them can't deal with the sun. So it's also research as well, because sometimes the sun could be like the government. Sometimes those government could be overbearing. The summer could be overbearing. And sometimes that's what happens also when the medical, they're overbearing and they think they're the only one have the power. You understand? So some of the plants couldn't deal with the heat. And so they die out,
Right.
Or they just dry down, black as tar. And I said, those plants are not good to keep the sun in our body neither. So you get to know what can survive the heat, especially for us who are dark melanin people in this country. The plants that survive the heat is also good for us as well, because we need that heat in our body. You see? So when you look out there, you see something like a sunflower green as ever. No matter how hot it is, the sunflower is green because it can take the heat of the sun. You see? Yeah.
So you take that. So that. That's a herb, no? So you take it for your body, no?
Yes,
The
sunflower.
yeah.
You know, I know, Dougie, you do seminars on prostate, but people don't know that the sunflower seed is good for the prostate. Yeah, Dr. Moore. I learned about important to do herbal walk as well because Dr. Moore, you can Google him, Dr. John Moore. I never met him, but I've seen his work. He was an elder in America long time ago, teaching about traditional herbs and doing herbal walk in Harlem and around the U.S. Yeah, and he talks about the importance of sunflower seed and different herbs for the prostate. Yeah, but sunflower because that's the sun energy in a flower. That's why it's called sunflower. And
sunflowers.
yes, yeah. So we as dark melanin people who are lacking the sun should take the sun out of the sunflower by making taking sunflower seed and make a milk out of it. Take the sunflower seed and you can put it in your smoothie machine and make sunflower milk. You don't have to buy in the milk where you have the preservative in there. You just buy a pack of seed and you make your milk every morning and you can feed and strain it and you feed that to the children. You don't need to boil the milk like cow milk. You just need to heat it up, or you just use it warm. So sunflower milk is very, very good, packed with nutrients for the body. And there's lots of sunflower. You could grow that in your garden and just take the seeds out. Yeah, so that's a very nutritious, rich food. And it's also keep the level of heat in your body. There's another one also that the natives used to use because it's a family of the sunflower as well. And what's the name? What's the name of it now? Let me see if I can remember the name. I'll come back to the name.
Okay.
I know the name. There's another name. I don't want to call the nickname of it. I want to get back to the original name of it where we know it from the scientific nature. I'm just trying to remember the name now. But it's a family of sunflower. Actually, it grows a flower similar to the sunflower but much smaller. Echinacea. Echinacea. Most people don't realize that the nickname for echinacea, or what the Europeans call echinacea, in America they call it niggerhead.
Really?
Yes.
Echinacea, what's that good for?
That's good for colds.
Good for colds,
How do you
flus.
spell that?
It's got a
Echinacea.
funny way of spelling it, isn't
Yeah.
it?
So is it E?
N-E-C-H, something like
Yeah.
So you get
Yeah.
it from that?
Let me get the spelling for you.
Okay.
Echinacea is very, very good because it's one of those what is called magical plant. Now, I do herbal talks and I also do herbal class, and that's one of the magical secrets I normally talk about echinacea in the herbal class. Yeah.
They say that the first sign of a cold you have, that's when you take the echinacea. You know, the little tingling that you get.
Yes, is
That's when you take the It's the
ECHINA
spelling.
Sorry, start again.
ECHINACEA
E H yeah. I-N A C E A.
Yes.
As I say, it's got a funny
They call it
spelling.
niggerhead because actually when it dry the flower part almost look like our kinky hair.
Yeah.
Yes, so they call it
that's
niggerhead.
brilliant.
That's one of the nicknames for echinacea. Echinacea is used by the Native American, and here's a secret for those who wants to do some magic. They use the echinacea to for them to dance on the fire.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So when you
okay.
see the Native American dancing or the Native American part of the tradition, they would hold fire or they would dance on fire, is because of the echinacea. Because the echinacea can take in a lot of sun. It can deal with a lot of heat.
So what do? They ingest it.
They maybe powder it, they maybe
Powder.
ingest it, but they do whatever they have to do
Yeah.
to use it to dance on fire because it makes them fire resistant.
Okay.
It makes them have a lot of fire. Fire don't burn fire. So when they take in the echinacea, they
Yeah.
could dance on fire.
Wow.
That's a magical secret here.
Okay then. All
So
right.
when you talk about you need more sun, there's the sun in the plants that you can take. If you
Yeah.
can't get to JA or the Caribbean, different parts of the Caribbean, you can get to the sun that's here in the plants. Yes? Another plant that helps you to access more light, because I talk about accessing more light, yes?
Yeah.
Cilantro. What's the other name for cilantro? Cilantro. You know the one they call cilantro? Is that the one that looks like parsley? What's the other name for it?
Oh.
Coriander.
Yes. Yeah, coriander.
Coriander is an excellent plant as well, because if you ingest a lot more coriander, it helps you to take on more light. It could help you to get more darker. That's another secret I'm laying out here. So take more coriander, cook with your coriander, and you will see more going on for you. Coriander is rich in vitamin A. It's very good for your eyes.
Okay.
Yes? Rich in vitamin C as well. Yes? So we that can get more lot of sun, take the sun out of the coriander, because the sun is also in the plants. Yes?
Okay, yeah.
Yes. Yes, all the planets are also linked in the plants as well, and we can look at them based on colors as well. That's another secret in terms of herbology.
So I remember you saying, was it just the other day, to bring back to Sister Shanice, and there was a plant, you said it blossoms or it flowers every 2 years.
Yes.
And you said it was linked to the lunar. And
yeah, it's linked to Mars, yes.
Yeah. And somebody phoned in and said that there's
I
another
heard,
plant.
yes.
It's every 6 years.
Every 5 years, yes. I want to know what plant is that. I want to see. I don't know which plant is this, but yes, it was on Shani's show the other day, and a brother called in and said he had a plant, and he had the plant for years in the house, and after 5 years he started to flower. And that's the sign for him to the work that he's doing. I don't know what plant is, and I'm very itching to know what plant it is. But it reminds me what Sister Abayame says when she came here. In Haiti, they do a ceremony every 2 years. And I was trying to make the link, and I know the link now. Because every 2 years is Mars revolution. And remember that a lot of the Haitian people also come from Benin. So this is a Mars ceremony that they do. That's why they're fighters. The plant that we're talking about, where Sister Shanice talk about, is a spiky plant. So I was at Sister Shanice, and she said, Clyde, we was talking about some plants, and she said, oh, this plant only flower every 2 years. I said, Sister Shanice, do you know what that means? And she said, no, what do you mean? I said, that means if it flower every 2 years, it's connected with Mars. And I looked at the plant and I said, you see all these spikes? They're also Mars. They're protective. And so the spear might have come from there. I'm rhyming now. The spear might have come because everything is taken out of nature. As within, so without. And so if you have these spiky plants that can be very protective from animals, people may plant them in the front of the yard and things like that, you can use that as a spear. You understand? So the plant flower every 2 years, and I saw just coming down the road, coming to the studio, there's a plant, the same plant up the road, and it's flowering the same like the one I said, Shanice. And I saw another one in Tottenham, the same plant. So now is the time they're flowering. So there's a very symbolic Mars, and Mars is exalted right now. It's in Capricorn. It's in its power mode.
So would that have any
bearing
medicinal or medical properties that we
I suspect that it does.
Like
I suspect it, yes.
every 2 years.
Yes, I
So
suspect,
to do
yes.
something with a flower?
Yes, I do suspect that. And when I go back and I saw that the actual plant flower, Shani says it's like Clyde, like 2 weeks after we went there, it wasn't no flower. When they got back there, she saw me the flower. I said, why you didn't call me? He said, Clyde, it was just the other day shouted, and I was going to tell you about it. And I said, that's amazing. I said, Shanice, look at the red color that's in the flowers to symbolize the planet Mars, which color is red. It's all in nature. But, you know, this is why they don't want us to learn about the science of astrology the ancient way, because once you know that this is the 360 degrees of knowledge that we can have to really able to analyze, because even though I didn't know about the plant, by understand that I could link it with the planet. Yes? And that's the power of understanding astrology in connection with nature.
Okay. It's quite fascinating what you're saying at Galatic Live. Really fascinating, and I'm just taking notes, just taking it in. But the question I want to jump here a little, because we was talking. You made some reference about rituals, right?
Ceremony and rituals, yes.
And how is that part of the healing, right? I just wanted to bring that, talk a bit about that, because that's very important. Because
Okay, I'm gonna talk about ritual. And I hope people don't turn off the radio, especially those people who are in the church, because One of the biggest ritual that goes on every Sunday is in the church. It's a ritual. It's a ceremony.
It's a ritual.
It's a ceremony. Ritual is more of what people call ritual and think that it's all negative and devilish. It's just a creative way of praying. That's what it is. You know, you see a lot of continental churches in this country, and every year they have the different harvesting, where they give thanks and they lay out the fruits and they give thanks and they connect with nature.
Yeah.
That's a ritual. That's a ceremony. So harvest is very important. All over the world, our people used to do harvest, giving thanks for the Creator for blessing us with abundance. When you plant a seed in the earth, you don't just plant the seed like the scientists and just hope that, okay, it's nature says it's going to grow, so thing. It doesn't work like that. They also plant, they also pray as well, so that worms don't take to the seeds. You see, you don't just give somebody a medicine and don't pray. You understand? So the ceremony goes on. They may call it incantation. It's just different ways of praying. So if I give somebody a herb, I'm also praying along with the herb that the nature of what you give the herb for would manifest, and that the power and the spirit that is connect with that herb would connect with that person. Even if the herb would sit on the counter for maybe a long time and it's maybe not as potent, you add the potency with the prayer.
Yeah.
Yes? And so prayer, ceremony, ritual, all of that is interlinked. Somebody might just kneel down and pray. There's no difference between that and a ceremony. It's all prayer. One may do it outlandish and another one may do it just, simple. Same like you could have a big party and a small party. It's still a party. Yes, you could have a big prayer where you have a whole heap of food and herbs, or you could have a small prayer, you by yourself kneeling down and speaking to the Creator, or whoever you believe your connection with the Almighty, however the name or whatever. Yes? So it's just a way of doing it, and it's more creative. The more creative, it adds more power, because the herbs and the fruits have power in them, and they also help to energize the prayer, and that's how it works.
Okay then. As I said, we have the great man Clyde inside the house, and he's just giving us some information, and I hope people are listening and taking notes, and and he'll be a regular among us.
Yes.
Like no, Clive. People might think me was a feisty man. It's not feisty about that. Clive is part. He's always been part of the team, but boy, the more I listen to Clyde, the more I get so hooked into him, And Clyde, son, right? The first time I heard you speak was at I think it might be Alexis.
Alexander, yeah, Wisdom
Alexis.
and Vitality.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was heavy. I still got the video for that. I have that video.
Do you have the video?
Yes, they're powerful. Yeah, I could get you a copy of that.
Yeah, give me a copy of that.
That was powerful. Yes.
Yeah. And then what's the other sister now? Sister Aminette.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And
I spoke to her today. By
spoke
the way.
to her today?
Yeah. Well, on the WhatsApp, WhatsApp each other
but,
today.
When I really took it serious one time, you came on the radio one time, right? And we was all raised with, I think it might have been me, you, Siam, and Edison.
Okay, yes.
And we was all raising one time. And then we brought the whole thing about dreams. And I said to myself, weird. This man could bring nothing about dreams, And Supreme was there, and we was just with you. You know what I mean? I've had anybody broke. We're talking about every single thing, but I didn't know him could break down thing about dreams. You know what I mean? But I like to talk about that probably a little bit later on. But that's when I'm gonna say, wait, this man is not different. But you see, we never really, because I talk to so many people, but the more I get to talk to you, the more I hear you listening, the more I'm just mesmerized by your power. And in fact, I don't know if Aunty knows this, right? When Dr. Africa's wife comes here, she comes to see Clyde. True Clyde.
Yeah, we connect. We connect like that, and we connect and we talk. Yes.
Yeah, she comes to see him.
Yeah, the last time they was here, I was on the panel with them, talking about the Ebola as well, because that's when that came out, and we were talking about some of this stuff on it. You see, I've been studying for all my life, and I must give thanks for the elders and how I grew up in terms of nature and the importance.
Right.
you know. And as I travel out from the country, I try to maintain, you know, it was instilled certain way of learning, and I maintain that. And as much as not pushy out there, and I'm not have a flyer or a business card, I know what I know,
Exactly.
you know, and I teach as well, and I share a lot of information,
Always.
you know what I mean. And it's not about the queen's head, because the queen could keep her head as far as I'm concerned, you understand.
Yeah.
It's about we understand where we are, know where we stand, and know where we need to go as a people. Because it's very important for we to unravel this mystery of who we are and why we come here. We all come here for different reasons, you know. And sometimes, you know, it's like we're blindfold.
Yeah.
You know, I had many blindfold in my life, but they, you know, a lot of them comes off, and there's still more. I'm not saying all my blindfolds are gone, because we all have blindfold. And as I get older, I'm losing some of these blindfold, and I'm gaining more knowledge, more wisdom, and more understanding.
Right.
And so I'm able to help you to move some of this blindfold, because life is like that. We're here to learn, we're here to grow, and we all come with some level of message. We all have messages. And somewhere along the line is about finding your sweet spot, or find your way, you know. And you know, I always say to people who are number one people, because I do the numerology, I said, if you're number one person, you're a leader. But as a good leader, you have to be a good follower. I've been following a lot of people.
Say that again. People need to understand that. Say that again, man.
To make a good leader, it's important to be a good follower. And I've been following lots of people. I've been researching the researchers. I've been looking at different things. So I've been studying a lot. You know what I mean? And I've been working in the trenches. And, you know, sometimes I get offer for radio shows, but I like to come on as guests. Because guess what? I still got a lot to go. I got a lot to study, you know? And so, yes. You know? So that's how it goes.
Okay, then. What I want to do, because, you know, I'm just conscious of time and so forth, yeah? And I just wanted to break down the whole thing about dreams, because, you know, I don't know, you have any knowledge about dreams?
Yeah, I could talk about dreams.
No, I'm going to talk about Aunty Jean
Jean.
first. Right? Because
Aunty
Aunty
Jean,
Jean
go
seems
ahead.
to know what Aunty Jean, you know anything about dreams?
No.
No? Alright then. Keep quiet though. Because I want Galatic Clyde to break down the whole thing about the dream thing. You know? Because that's powerful.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, son, right? You know, it'd be interesting, right? But I've never anybody really talk about do a seminar and break down the whole thing about
Not much
dreams.
people talk about dreams,
Yeah.
yes.
And it'd be interesting
Yes.
to do something
Yeah.
about the whole thing about dreams.
And normally, because I do readings for people, and this is astrology reading, numerology readings, the key aspect to understand dream is to understand symbolism. That's one way of understanding dreams. And the most important aspect of knowing dreams is to understand that dreams is conceptual speech. You're getting a concept. You're not getting the message, you're getting a concept of the message. And what is it is important to try to understand the concept. Because most time we think the concept is the message and the message is the concept. But what happened, the dream is a concept, not the message. So within the dream now, if you look at it as a concept, you can break it down. Because the dream may give you a color, or it may give you something you're familiar with in order to show you something you're not familiar with. So that's why it's important to look at what you're familiar with as a look at the dream as a concept. Because he used something like, you may remind you of something when you were younger in order to get you to understand. Because this is ancestral, this is spirits, these are guides that are trying to tell you something without speaking to you, you know, in words, but they're speaking to you in pictorial form, in symbology. So it's concept. So now you have to use what you know to order to gain the understanding of what they're trying to tell you. Because they're not really speaking to you verbally. They're speaking to you via like pictures or symbols. Sometimes it may take a long time. But if you keep on, and one thing I understand about dream is that whatever you dream, when you dream in the morning, the evening, around the same flip time, because like 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the evening is a flip time of that. So you look for a responding connection to the morning dream. That's very important.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I normally follow that as well.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So most time when somebody tell me a dream, I look at the concept. Yeah. So if they tell me a dream and they says, well, there was water, the first thing I said is the water moving or is it stagnant? Because it have a different meaning.
Right.
You know, is the water a different color? You know, you look at the concept and then you can figure out what the dream is saying. If they tell you a car, not just a car, is the car moving? Is this car standstill? If anybody in the car, so you ask the questions so that you can best ascertain what is the message that is coming through the dream. You know, yeah. So it's concepts you're getting, and so you have to able to analyze the concept and then realize what is being spoken to you, and then you may get a picture or a symbol because he uses a familiarity in order to show you something you're not familiar with. Yeah, very important.
Okay.
So
then.
if an ancestor want to tell you something about something you don't know, it would use something that you know in order to guide you to something you don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
So to some extent, you could say that dreams is really our ancestors are really communicating in certain kind of picture form, or really just talking to you or guiding you through certain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could tell you I even get dreams in another language.
Yeah.
Yeah. One time I get a dream and I get a message in Spanish.
In Spanish.
Yes. And I had to ask somebody what does it mean? What they mean, because I know the word.
Yeah.
I'd say I had to just remember the word and ask them, well, what does it mean? And then they tell me, and then I'm able to figure out what the dream is. You know? Because there's a part of us, when it comes on to the spirit realm, the language is no barrier. You know, and I was speaking to a sister today about, you know, certain protection. Like, there's certain protection that other people other races may use, or other people in other language may use. But you may consider, well, I don't speak that language, so why do I use it?
Right.
But the spirits understand this language.
Yeah.
You understand? So somebody could give you a prayer, but it's not in a language you understand. If you understand the nature of the prayer and it's a protective prayer, you can still use it. A symbol that you may not understand, that is a protection, yes, it would still work because the spirits, or if it's a negative spirit, would understand that. You see? And that's how it works.
Yeah. Again, we have Galatic Clyde inside the host. There's a question I was gonna ask you, and it kind of slipped at my flipping head for some reason, right? And
Is it about the walk? Because I was
No.
going to come back to the walk again
no,
about
no,
people
no, it
who are
wasn't about the
interested.
walk. It wasn't about the walk.
Okay.
It was something to do with the,
Magic?
in fact, I like to touch on the other thing about magic, because I mean, and the reason why, because when we was coming from the Mahat Center,
Yes, yes. I was teasing you.
yeah,
I was poking you.
hey, the man had me. Hey, I'm not telling you, Auntie Jean, the man had me just thinking about this magic thing, yeah, right?
Yes.
Yeah, go into
Yes. The greatest magician out there is the creator.
that.
The greatest magician out there is the creator. And the reason lot of us don't have the magical power that the creator would bestow on us is because we don't have ourselves together. Because had we given certain powers, we would use it wrong.
Yeah.
And that's one of the problems. So to embark on what is called magic, or what you people would say in church, miracles, is one and the same. Yes? So in order to gain certain magical or miracle power, you have to come good. Because it's not given to people who are living a certain way in the negative. Because they would use it for destructive. You understand? A guy steal my phone the other day, and I know Auntie Jean wanted to find out if did I put any magical spell on him or anything. Yes, I did. But it's a good spell.
Yeah.
A good spell to turn him around for the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you asked me that without asking me, Auntie Jean, so I'm jumping the gun right now on you. Am I right or am I not right? Yes, I know you asked me, but you didn't ask me direct. You asked me indirect.
Oh, so actually stole your phone?
Yeah, he stole my phone.
Okay.
So I asked the creator to bless him.
Somebody really helped as
Bless him
well.
so he could come around.
Yeah.
Because the old people always say, God bless you from earth to heaven.
Yeah.
They never wish anything bad for people. Because it's the way. Because if the creator whether you call it God, Jehovah, or Yahweh, Ra, whatever name you use,
Yeah.
if the Creator gonna bestow a power on us, we have to be right, we have to be correct. Because they're not gonna give us the power that we're gonna use for destructive. And it's in the scripture.
Yeah.
It's in the scripture. The scripture says it.
But,
You Rasta used to say Jah would never give his power to a bald-head man. Yeah?
but hold on, Clyde. But
Yes.
remember, you was telling me that we're in a church where they must have broken into the church or something, and they must have put a spell upon this particular man, and he's sweeping the.
Oh yes, yes.
Sweeping the church.
This is kind of like a joke, but it's serious thing. I don't know the exact. It's a Nigerian saying where they have certain spell in Nigeria where you break in their house and they have a spell set up in the house and you can't get out the house. You have to stay there, sweep the house all day until when they come. You know, you
So
break
you
in the
sweep the
person's
house.
house and all you can do is sweep the house.
Sweep the house.
Yes, they got a spell on the house. You understand? You stay there and sweep until when the boss come. Till when they come to let you go.
Right.
You understand?
Wow.
So these are sayings, and you could ask any Nigerian that knows about certain things that goes on in Nigeria. Our people knows things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's powers out there, as they say. But the real power, when you come on to real power, you have to come right. This is why the ancient teach morality.
Yeah.
You know, they teach about living right. Because when you live in right, you get blessed with powers unbelievable. You understand? You could walk late at night. My mother used to walk late, the latest night. My grandmother used to like, heart used to melt. How could you walk in dark place the late at night? My mother had faith. My grandmother used to say, well, you got heart. My mother would walk there. When you walk into them dark place, you know, you can't see nothing. You can't even see your hand how dark it is. And my mother used to walk them place they go church. You understand?
Wow.
But these are the faith, because when you have certain power, when you live right, you don't got to worry about these things. You don't got to worry, because the Creator will bless you with certain things. He will bless you with anything that you need in that sense. But the power that is going to be guide and protect us is in the realm of righteousness. You understand? That's why a lot of people don't have magical power. That's why a lot of those magicians, they're just fake out there. Because true magic come to true morality. You understand? Come to true understanding of life and liberty. You know?
Okay. All right then. I'm just looking at the time again. So what we're gonna do now? I'm gonna ask Clyde, if you don't mind, just give us some details where people can find you, and let people know when the next
Herbal walk, yes.
herbal walk is.
Yes, if you want to come on the herbal walk, it's a walk of a lifetime. We do this herbal walk because we show you that right here, there's plants here that we can utilize. And when we go on the herbal walk, I also have herbs there that you can take. You get to know about the herbs. I'm not hiding anything in terms of when you come on to herbal knowledge. I share some of the secrets of secrets that I get, because I says as I empty my cup, it comes full again. I can't, before he empty, get full. So I could always be uploading. And you know, it's I must say it's a blessing, you know. So I'm sharing knowledge. So if you want to come on the walk, let me know, link me up. I'm on WhatsApp. I'm Galactic Clyde on WhatsApp. My number is 07961 476 356, and I do answer my phone. 07961 476 356. If you call me and you don't answer, that means I might be on the line, it might be on the train or something, but I'll call you back. Yeah? So we can talk about herbs, we can talk about herbology, herbs that you can use for almost anything, because the power is in nature. And nature power is in us. As within, so without. As above, so below. That's the ancient axiom. And so they know that nature is in us and as well as outside of us. And this is the link. Not the lab. Them doctors, they need to go in the bush and spend some time amongst them bite them snakes.
Yeah.
They need to spend some time amongst some of them rough beasts in the woods and know how to protect themselves. I'm not saying that you should leave them in there, but they should be guided by people who know the herbs. And this is how they can real practice medicine. Because medicine is in nature, not in the lab. Anything in the lab is false. It's synthetic. And it wouldn't work for your system. And this is why they're having a failure and a failure and a failure. Yes? They're having a failure with everything they're doing. Because if you start on the wrong foot, you're not going to end up on the right.
Right, yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Simple as that. Okay then. So, Auntie Jean, do you want to...
I thoroughly recommend you go on the herbal walks. Definitely. You learn a lot about all the plants and trees around you. Their uses as well. Very.
Give us a highlight, Auntie Jean, on the last one.
Highlight.
Auntie was at last one.
Many. Yeah, it was so.
You've
so
been
many.
to
I wasn't on
quite a
the
few
last one, but that was on the
Yes.
first one. When you're looking up, because you had the magnifying glass,
Oh, yes.
and when you take the magnifying and go straight into it, and you just see all the intricacies of the plant, and also on the leaf,
Yes.
and how the lines on the leaf is
Yes.
when you put the magnifying glass on the back of your hand.
Yes.
How it's very, very similar.
Yes.
Very, very similar.
Yes,
know,
we get
and
real
things that
scientific because
yeah.
science means to know. And even though I haven't been to college or high school or university for any
You're not
science,
a professor.
I don't need to have a science degree to practice science or to do science. A magnifying glass is a magnifying glass, making it bigger or smaller. And we looked into that. I'm into science in terms of that. Actually, there's some certain science program that I'm always interested in. I'm into these things, and I share that. And you know, I see adults like little children when we go on these walks, and it's amazing to see, you know, how it's get real excited. And I also with my children as well, they get to see these things and looking into nature. And you never know where you would end up and what you can gain from looking into the, you know, miniature universe. Yeah. Yeah. How about you? There's a tree out there. You know, people they talk about the snakes change their skin, but trees does that as well.
Is it like the eucalyptus?
Yeah, the eucalyptus and the oak. You see
bark,
them, they give off the bark as well.
Yes,
The eucalyptus bark is very good when you have head cold or chest cold or chest pain and all those things. You know.
I'm going to ask you to read out this. Can people have something spirit touch me? What we do? We're
Can
gonna
people have attaching spirits on them, and why?
Yes, people can have attaching spirits on them. Yes, sometimes people even are born with attaching spirits. Why? It could be because of maybe your level of consciousness, or it's also because of some people may have also thought that maybe put a spirit on you based on certain things.
Right.
But there's ways to get rid of that. There's herbs to also help you to release
Okay,
those
to enhance it,
negative spirits as well. And we could talk about these herbs. There's lots of herbs out there to use too, because you know there's spirits out there just as miserable as people, and there's spirits out there very as good as the Creator as well. And so there's good and bad in everything, in the spirit world as well as in the physical world. And yes, there's spiritual attachment that people, they're actually a good DVD about spiritual attachment where it actually show you attachments on people. Very good DVD out there that I could share with people that talks about attaching spirits that are on people. Right. And a lot of, that's why some of the times you on WhatsApp I would tell people that are on my group, I said I don't want no swearing. When people using the F language, those are spirit of revenge. Those are revengeful spirits. And this is why you see the F language is so proliferated in the world, because those are revengeful spirit. It's a way of offering a revenge. Somebody says something and the first thing a revenge spirit comes out of us. And that could tell where this level of consciousness is at. You know? So there's all types of spirits out there, just like all types of people out there. And there's good and bad spirit. There's revengeful, there's grudge-minding spirit. There's all kind of spirits out there. And there's miserable spirits out there just to create. And so you have to know how to rise above that. And the herbs can help you.
Oh, the herbs can
you
help
know,
you.
and also certain sounds as well, certain beats as well. They're having a chant. They're having actually a Naya Bingi at in Dalston on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah.
Good to you
So
mention
that would be good as well. You know,
I
that also gets rid of some of them.
I'm supposed to mention that. You know, my brethren informed me today. I'll definitely be there Saturday.
Gillett Square.
My brethren. Yeah, I'll be there. Gillett Square. I'm trying my best to get down there.
I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, I think it starts from 2 to 5. I forgot. You know,
I'm gonna look it up to see what. Yeah. So drums and beats and heavy beats like that also kind of, you know, help to get rid of these spirits as well. Yeah. Because certain things they can't deal with. Bitter herbs as well help to run some of these spirits as well. You know? Yeah, people don't realize a lot of bitter herbs. And I talk about one bitter herb that's very good, which is called the herb of grace. Remember we talked about it last week? Rue. It's R-U-E. That's a herb that is used in the Catholic Church when they talk about those water, the holy water. They use the rue and soak it in the water, and then they sprinkle the water on you and call it holy water. Holy water. That's the herb of grace. It's called rue. R-U-E. You can Google it and see what I'm saying about that.
Right. Yeah. Okay then. So well, Clyde, I know you're in some kind of gear at the moment. No, you know what I mean? We have to just wore the brakes by you a little bit. No, you see? What I want to do is get Auntie G now mention. Oh yeah, just to let people know, this Saturday, as at Gillett Square in Dalston. Yes, there'll be some workshop drumming. In fact, my brethren, Bongo, did phone me earlier on. Me and had a good chat, and I said I will mention about it. Because he did ask me to come down. I said I'm going to try my best to come down. There's some things happening Saturday, but I want to pass down there anyway. So that's taking place. If you know what Gillett Square is, they'll be doing some drumming. And it's encouraging a lot of young people to come down and do some drumming.
12 to 6, yeah?
And it's from 12 to 6, you know?
Yeah.
And that's this Saturday coming, and it's something I'm trying to do on a regular basis, and I'm trying to encourage more young people to come there and drum and just vibes up. No,
can we touch a little bit on the Nyabingi, what the Nyabingi represents, and why Nyabingi?
Yeah, you want to talk about?
Yeah. The Nyabingi is a certain beat. You know, one time the drum was considered, it was banned by the European, because certain beats, because the beats are augmented, it throw them off balance. And especially the Nyabingi beats, because the beats are augmented in such a way, so you're hearing budup budup budup, and then you're hearing something else and something else and something else, and you can't keep up, or the Europeans couldn't keep up with that, and so it threw them off, out of sync. And this is why they used to ban the drum, because they know that the drum was very powerful in sending messages and connecting us and raising our vibration, because it's always the heartbeat. The drum is the heartbeat. Yeah. So I'll leave it at that for now. Okay
then. Auntie Jean, just let people know what's happening, please.
Yes, Auntie Jean's African Culture Market is this Sunday, the 9th of September, and it's going to be at the Chestnuts Community Centre.
Chestnut Community Centre,
Anns Road, N15 5BN. There's few stores available, so you can give us a call on 07961 886 032.
Okay then, and I said Clyde will be part of the program was taking place over Dalston at HCVS, and they'll be talking about herbs and all kind of stuff. You see the man's a total scientist. Anyway, we're gonna put the pin in it now because we're well over time. In fact, we're feeling for a bit of a brother Russ Dragon, but he's probably got family commitment, you know.
And don't forget, the 8th of September, the Sister Space fundraiser to keep the property, the roof over their heads, so they got it for another year. So come down. It was a breakdown for the Black Panther with Andrew Mohammed. So come down and support. It's much needed, much needed.
Okay then, give thanks.
Police sirens be blazing, but we blaze all night. Rude boys on the Till the sun comes up, I won't let your spirits down. Till the sun comes up on our hometown. Till the sun comes up, we're all gonna gather round. Dance, 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 feel that vibration, energy, holding us together now in harmony. Yeah. Sun comes up, I won't let your spirits down. Till the sun comes up on my hometown. When the sun comes up, we're all gonna gather round. Some people fight to survive. Some people they can't even try. So tonight I celebrate why I'm alive. Some people fight to survive. So I'm gonna celebrate.